the beginning of the story, my wife Julia and I were returning home in our car. On the way, Julia brings up the topic of children because I had not thought about it yet, and she needed an answer to plan our future life. This leads to an argument between us, and our attention shifts away from the road. Suddenly, a vehicle appears in front of us, and to avoid it, Julia sharply turns the car. Unfortunately, our car ends up right in the middle of the road, and at that very moment, a truck crashes into us with great force, causing our car to flip and be thrown far away. 1 year later, I am living alone with my cat. News is playing on the TV that a strange virus is spreading in the world, and countries are thinking about closing their borders. The situation keeps getting worse, and people are becoming violent in their attempts to survive. I am so drowned in my grief that I do not pay proper attention to these news reports and eventually mute the TV. Because of this, I miss the footage showing a patient inside a hospital slowly turning into a zombie. After this, I take my car and head toward the city, and on the way, I see an ambulance speeding past. I reach the harbor where 2 women want to buy my boat, which I have never used since Julia's death. While looking for the boat's papers, I find Julia's bracelet, and at that very moment, my mind fills with old memories of Julia. While returning home, my sister calls me, but I ignore it. On the way, I stop at a supermarket to buy supplies and see that people are buying far more food than necessary, leaving the shelves almost empty. Seeing all this, I feel fear for the first time. When I reach home, I tie Julia's bracelet around my cat's neck and turn on the TV, where the news reports that the virus has now reached Spain. In the evening, I talk to my sister Belen on a video call, and she tells me that her husband works for the government, so their family is being sent to the Canary Islands. She asks me to come along as well, but I refuse. The next day, when I see that all my neighbors are leaving the city, I also decide to leave and take my cat with me. On the way, I hear on the radio that a new form of the virus is spreading in Europe, which infects a person within just a few minutes and spreads through wounds or bites, and then I begin to understand that this is not just an illness, but a dangerous zombie apocalypse. After reaching the airport, I message Belen that I am coming, but just as people start boarding the plane, suddenly, without any clear reason, our tickets are canceled and the crowd becomes uncontrollable. People start shouting at the staff member, who himself has no idea what is happening. Then it is shown on the big screen that all flights have been canceled, and at the same moment, everyone receives a civil protection alert message on their phones. Seeing this, chaos breaks out at the airport, and some people try to forcefully enter the plane. At that moment, Belen calls me and tells me to immediately go home and hide and not step outside until further notice. Suddenly, a man snatches a gun from a security guard and starts threatening to shoot, causing the entire crowd to run out of the airport. Everyone is trying to reach their homes, so I get badly stuck in traffic, and the radio reports that the same situation is happening on all roads and bridges. Military helicopters are flying over us. People are abandoning their cars and fighting among themselves, and the news reports that the situation is out of control. Riots have broken out, and many soldiers have also been injured. Eventually, I get tired of waiting and decide to walk on foot with my cat. By nightfall, I reach my neighborhood, where I see a unit of soldiers surrounding a building, and a special tunnel has been set up at one house. Strange noises are coming from inside that house, and then I am stunned to see 2 soldiers pulling a zombie out through that tunnel, while outside his wife is crying for her sick husband. After this, I return home and fall asleep exhausted. That night, I repeatedly have terrifying dreams about the accident and Julia's death. The next morning, Belen video calls me and tells me that the government is creating safe zones to move people to secure places. But there is debate within the army, because the more people are brought into the safe zones, the greater the risk of the virus spreading, and the same problem has appeared in other countries as well. Belen clearly tells me that no matter what happens, I should not leave the house. Within a short time, all major cities are declared quarantined, and no one is allowed to enter the cities, which makes the situation on the roads even worse. The virus is now completely out of control, and people are seeing zombies eating humans in their own neighborhoods and recording that horrifying reality on social media. Some people are making videos teaching how to protect oneself and how to prepare armor. That same afternoon, the government declares a state of emergency and new rules are implemented, according to which all work is shut down after 2 in the afternoon, and if needed, even ordinary citizens are being recruited into the army. The next time I went to the supermarket, there was almost no food left. People were snatching items from each other's hands, and the situation had completely gone out of control. Whatever I could find, I grabbed quickly, and while leaving, I saw fighter jets flying in the sky, which increased my fear even more. After that, I stopped at a gas station to get more supplies, when an injured policeman arrived there and, after colliding with me, locked himself inside the store. He locked the doors with his handcuffs, and within moments more people gathered around, around, running for their lives and screaming for help. Suddenly, the situation got even worse when a zombie jumped on another police officer and started tearing his face apart. Seeing this, I was stunned and picked up a mop to prepare to defend myself. Just as that zombie was about to bite me, the fallen police officer gathered his last strength and shot it. As soon as the zombie died, its blood splashed onto my face and I started trembling with fear. The first policeman locked inside the store was now banging hard on the glass because he too had turned into a zombie. I wanted to go to the injured officer, but he fired a shot at the floor to keep me away. I understood that staying there would be like embracing death, so I picked up my supplies and left. From behind, I heard the sound of a gunshot, and I understood that the police officer had shot himself so that he would not turn into a zombie. After reaching home, I saw that the president finally appeared on TV and announced even stricter lockdown measures. He clearly stated that anyone who did not cooperate with the army and their evacuation plans would be considered a criminal. Watching videos on the internet, I strengthened the outer walls of my house with the help of my tools and also installed a security camera. By evening, the army came to evacuate my neighborhood, but at that very moment, I received a message from Belen telling me to stay at home and that she would save me. So I turned off all the lights and hid with my cat. Outside, soldiers were banging hard on my door, but thankfully they did not break it and could not see me through the window, so after some time they left. I stayed locked inside my house for 2 weeks, and my food slowly started running out. The mobile internet had also stopped, so I could not call my sister. After thinking a lot, I picked up some tools for self-defense, wore several layers of clothing on my body, and finally decided to leave my house. In search of food, I broke into many houses, but unfortunately, I found nothing anywhere. After wandering for hours, I reached a house where I found an old woman named Gabriella. She was in a wheelchair and could not get out of the house. She also had no food left, but she told me which houses might have supplies because before the lockdown she had seen some neighbors buying more than necessary. I went to every house on the list she made, and finally I started finding food, drinks, and other useful things. Among them, there was also a bike. After getting the bike, my courage increased and I started going farther. Slowly, I collected a lot of food, which I shared with Gabriella. I also gave her a walkie-talkie so that we could talk to each other when I was outside. Now only one house was left, the same house where the soldiers had found a zombie. In that house I did not find food, but I found a tank inside which dead fish were lying. Suddenly I felt someone standing behind me, and thinking it was a zombie, I immediately fired a shot, but it was not a zombie. It was an ordinary human who, seeing me as dangerous, ran away in fear. After he left, I checked one last cupboard and finally found more food there. Days kept passing, and Gabriella and I often sat together and ate meals. One night I drank too much alcohol, and in that state messaged Gabriella that I deeply regretted not spending more time with my family. After that, in my sleep, I saw the accident again, where everything replayed before my eyes, and I remembered how we were taken to the hospital by helicopter. Suddenly, my sleep broke when I heard Gabriella's voice on the walkie-talkie. She was telling me to turn on the radio. As soon as I turned it on, I heard a voice saying that the survivors were being sent to the Canaries, and they mentioned a place where this rescue team could be found. Gabriella did not trust this, but I explained to her that our food was about to run out. That group was at the Arousa estuary, and I said that we could reach there using my boat. Gabriella refused and said that she could not go because she would become a burden on me, but I did not listen to her and promised that I would take complete care of her. The next morning, when I called Gabriella and got no response, I started feeling anxious. I ran to her house, and seeing the scene there, the ground slipped from under my feet. Gabriella had committed suicide. She had left a note in which she thanked me for the past few days and wrote that now I should save my own life. With a heavy heart and broken spirit, I started walking back from there. On the way, suddenly a zombie attacked me, causing my weapon to fall from my hand. For some time, the two of us struggled, and I kicked it away and tried to climb onto a car, but the zombie grabbed my leg and pulled me down. In this scuffle, it bit my hand, but I was wearing many layers of clothes, so its teeth could not reach my skin. I started striking the zombie with the car door, causing its head to get stuck in the broken glass. After that, I ran quickly to pick up my weapon, and just as the zombie tried to bite again, I shot it with an arrow and killed it. When everything became calm, I took its identification ID from its purse and placed it on its chest, so that if authorities ever found it, it could be identified. After reaching home, I boiled water to clean my weapon and sent another message to Belen saying that I could not wait anymore, but there was still no network. After that, I took my cat and set off on the bike, speeding ahead on the empty roads. After going some distance, I encountered a barrier, leaving me with no option except to go through the forest. As soon as I entered the forest, several zombies started chasing me, but they were not fast enough to catch me. Sometimes they tried to jump and get closer, so I had to remain extremely cautious every moment. Ahead, an abandoned camp came into view, and while entering it, I felt scared about what might be inside, but there was no way back. Just as I was passing passing through the middle of the camp, suddenly a large horde of zombies attacked. Somehow I managed to escape from them and get out of there. But a little further ahead, there was a pile of zombie corpses on the path, and I was moving so fast that I could not stop the bike in time and slipped and fell. The cat's cage flew far away, but the cat was completely safe. From behind, the sounds of zombies began to be heard, so I panicked and got back on the bike, but the bike would not start. Now I had no option left except to run, so I picked up the cat's cage and started running toward the forest. But the zombies had already come very close to me. Somehow I reached the harbor, and as soon as I crossed the bridge, I closed the gate behind me. Within moments, the zombies started banging hard on the glass, and eventually broke it and came inside, but by then I had already crossed another strong gate. Finally, I managed to save my life. At first, I felt that all hope was lost, because there was not a single boat visible at the harbor, but after looking around a bit, I saw an abandoned boat far out in the water. I swam over to it and checked the engine, but the boat would not start. At that moment, I heard a sound from inside, and when I opened the door, I saw a zombie child stuck to a chair. Understanding the situation, I did not stay there, and left that place with my cat on a small wooden boat. I tried to contact the place mentioned in the radio message, but there was no signal. Still, I kept recording messages for my sister Belen. That same night, during the journey, suddenly my boat stopped, and when I checked the engine, I found that a dead body was stuck in it. At that moment, I saw a bright light coming from nearby, and with all my strength, I started waving my hands and shouting for help. That light was from a boat of Ukrainian people, who agreed to take me along with them. My cat and I were taken onto a large ship, where I was given food. There was only one man there who could speak Spanish, and his name was Victor. He told me that the Canaries had been completely closed off, and the police had not allowed the survivors evacuated from there to disembark, which was why so many zombies had spread on land there. I told them that I would help in finding supplies, so I was given a room to stay in. At midnight, I heard some strange sounds, and when I looked out through the window, I saw some people on a boat asking for help. The next morning, I asked about those people, but Victor lied and swore that no boat had arrived the previous night. After that, I was called to the captain's office to help them identify important buildings like hospitals and factories on the map. Later, I found out that the boat I had seen the previous night was present on this very ship, and the people on the ship also had all the belongings of those survivors. I questioned Victor about this, but he refused to give a clear answer. When I found out that Victor was a pilot, I told him that I knew the location of a helicopter, but Victor told me to keep my head down and not ask too many questions, which made me realize that something was definitely wrong here. As evening falls, I quietly observed the ship carefully and realized that many boats have been collected here, which were taken from survivors from different places. I pack my belongings and hide my cat in a bag, then start moving around inside the ship. In a room downstairs, I find two people tied up, and I quickly untie the first man, but as soon as he stands up, a guard shoots him. At that very moment, Victor arrives there and tries to snatch the weapon from the guard. While fighting, Victor strangles the guard with a rope and kills him. Now Victor also understands that staying here is like embracing death, and he gets ready to run with me to find the helicopter. Victor, the second surviving man, and I sneak our way to a boat, but just as we start leaving, two guards open fire, and that second man is killed right there. As the boat moves forward, Victor also fires back, but he gets shot in the shoulder. I start driving the boat with all my strength to save Victor's life. After a short while, we reach the shore, and I support Victor and start moving forward. There are many cars parked nearby, but almost all of them are locked. Then my eyes fall on a car that is not locked. When I look inside, I see a zombie sitting inside it. Without wasting any time, I kill it. After this, I set off with Victor and my cat in that same car toward the hospital where Julia died, because I remembered that there used to be a helicopter there earlier. On the way, Victor tells me that the ship's captain was not a human, but a monster who was building his base on an island and allowed only those people to live there who obeyed him. When we finally reach the hospital, I break down from inside when I see that there is no helicopter on the roof at all. At that moment, suddenly a zombie jumps onto the car, and to knock it off, I start driving the car wildly. As soon as I get the chance, I pick up Victor's gun and kill that zombie. But as soon as the sound of the gunshot echoes, more zombies from around get drawn toward us, and I keep firing continuously and kill all those zombies as well. After that, I enter the hospital with Victor and my cat and start looking for a tool to remove the bullet stuck in Victor's shoulder, when strange sounds start coming from the first floor. I move upward very carefully, and on seeing a zombie walking there, I immediately hide. Then I hear a voice like someone speaking from a vent, so I try to talk to them, but at that very moment, another zombie spots me and attacks me. Without wasting any time, I shoot an arrow into its head and knock it down, but because of the noise, many more zombies start chasing me. To stop the zombies, I run into a room and close the door, jamming an iron rod into it. Then I feel a jolt, because there is no way out visible from there. At that moment, a nurse named Lucia opens an emergency door, and as soon as I go inside, she closes the door, saving me me from the zombies. Both of us go straight to the room where my cat and Victor are when Sister Cecilia arrives there with 3 children. Cecilia anxiously asks what has happened to him. Then I explain that Victor has not been bitten by a zombie, but has been shot. Hearing this, Cecilia and Lucia immediately start treating his wound together and somehow manage to stabilize Victor's condition. When I mention the helicopter, Lucia tells me that it is parked in the quarantine area behind the hospital, which is filled with zombies. That same night, they share a little of their food with me, and I keep thinking continuously about Julia. I go to the room where she died and remember her final moments, then remove the bracelet from my cat's neck and place it on Julia's bed. The next morning, I go up to the roof and start looking at the zombies, when suddenly my phone gets a signal, and all the messages sent by Belen over the past several weeks arrive at once. I am about to record a reply when the sound of gunfire is heard from outside. Looking outside, it becomes clear that the people from the ship are killing zombies to enter the hospital. Understanding the danger, I run downstairs and warn everyone, after which we decide to use the hospital basement route to reach the helicopter. The basement is filled with bodies and smoke, so all of us cover our mouths and noses and slowly move forward. Then we realize that one door has jammed, and Lucia is forced to break it with an axe. As soon as the door opens, a zombie comes running out and directly attacks Cecilia, biting her. I immediately pull the zombie away, and at that very moment, Lucia kills it with the axe. Cecilia realizes that she has now been infected, so she tells us to go ahead without her, and decides to stay there herself. Moving forward, all of us reach a room where many zombies are hiding behind furniture. Lucia manages to open the door silently, but then a small girl speaks up when she sees that her mother has turned into one of those zombies. Luckily, no one pays attention to that sound, and we start moving toward the door. Suddenly, a zombie knocks over the cupboards, creating a loud noise, and the other zombies also attack. Seeing the situation worsen, I hide inside a cupboard with that little girl, while the others move behind the door. The zombies start banging on the cupboard, and for a moment I feel that this is the end for me. Just then, the ship's people arrive there, and within a few minutes shoot all the zombies dead. After a brief argument, they leave without looking at anyone. Now finally, our group reaches the last door, and as soon as we step outside, we see an area completely filled with zombies. Remembering the tutorials I had seen on the internet, I tie several cages together, and we use them like shields to cross the ground. In the beginning, everything goes fine, but then one wheel gets stuck, and as soon as there is noise, the zombies attack us. Lucia holds them back with her axe, and I clear the path using a fire extinguisher, while Victor keeps pushing the cages forward. We move ahead very slowly, and at every step, our lives are in danger. But after a lot of struggle, we somehow manage to reach the gate. Lucia breaks the gate's chain with her axe and stays there with me to hold back the zombies, while Victor runs toward the helicopter with the children. After heavy pushing and shoving, Lucia and I manage to close the gate and tightly tie it with a cloth, then quickly run toward the others. Victor tries to start the helicopter, but it does not start, and at that moment, zombies begin climbing over the fence. Seeing the situation get worse, I step outside without thinking so that I can stop them and buy time for the others. At that very moment, Victor finds an exposed wire and quickly connects it, starting the helicopter. As soon as the loud engine noise is heard, the ship's people enter the ground and start firing at the zombies. They cut the cloth tied to the gate and come inside, threatening us that if we do not give them the helicopter, they will shoot all of us. Victor signals to me, and without any delay, I break the chain of the other gate. Meanwhile, a new horde of zombies enters the ground and attacks the ship's people directly. The situation changes in an instant. Some zombies move toward the helicopter, so Victor lifts it slightly so that they fall down. I fight the zombies with an axe, making my way through the crowd. Just as the helicopter is about to take off, Lucia throws down a ladder, and with all my strength, I immediately climb onto it. A few hours later, the helicopter reaches near the Canaries, and at that moment, Belen calls me, warning me not to come there. Just then, 2 fighter jets pass by us, and it becomes clear that those islands have also now been infected. With this, the story ends here. If you liked the video, make sure to like it, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel.